This week, University of Miami head coach Jim Larrañaga became the second high-profile, wildly successful college basketball coach to call it a career this season, following UVA's national championship-winning coach Tony Bennett leaving the coaching game back in October from UVA. Both Bennett and Larrañaga leaving for similar reasons. The game now isn't anything like the game they coached and loved so successfully for so long.
What shocked me beyond belief was after we made it to the Final Four just 18 months ago, the very first time I met with the players, 8 of them decided they were going to put their name in the portal and leave. I said, don't you like it here? No, I love it. I love Miami. It's great. But the opportunity to make money someplace else created a situation that you have to begin to ask yourself as a coach, what is this all about?
The game and college athletics is not in a healthy spot. It's not, and there needs to be change. And it's not going to go back. I think I was equipped to do the job here the old way. And that's who I am, and that's how it was. And my staff has buoyed me along to get to this point. But there needs to be change. It's going to be closer to a professional model, Coach Carlisle. I think it is, where there's got to be collective bargaining. There has to be a restriction on the salary pool that teams can spend. There has to be transfer regulation restrictions.
Well, coming off a week in college basketball, it's been light on games but big on news. We say hello to CBS Sports college basketball analyst Hunter Dickinson. Hunter, in light of Jim Larrañaga's resignation, Tony Bennett retiring before him, it strikes me, how has the role of college basketball head coach changed in the last few years? And you've lived through it in the age of NIL and the transfer portal.
Yeah, I think it's just a new kind of position for a head coach. Like Coach L said from Miami, like you kind of have to re-recruit your roster every year, whether it's new players or players that you even have on your roster because of tampering and stuff like that. I definitely think there needs to be some more changes and some rules in place because it's kind of like the wild, wild west out there with free agency every offseason for college programs.
And what's it like for players? How do you get a team to become a team when players are changing teams so often?
Yeah, it kind of feels like you have a brand new team every year. With this year, we had a couple guys returning, thankfully, but a lot of new faces and a lot of guys that, you have to gel really fast with them because the season comes before you know it. And then before you know it, you're already in Big 12 play. And so, I think it's a big challenge for guys to really, gel really quickly. But I think, having a good culture definitely helps with that.
And that's the thing. Is culture the key here that's set in place from one school to another, that anyone who comes in sort of gets enveloped in that culture? Is that how you've seen it?
Yeah, I think it really starts with any returning players if you're lucky. If you're Arkansas and you don't have any returning players back on the roster, that can be a little hard. But the returning players have to set that culture. And I think, coaches have to make sure that they get the right guys, not just the best players, but the best fit for their program.
All right, let's talk basketball as it goes on now because the break is kind of over for the holidays. Conference schedule is about to begin in earnest. And right now, the rankings show us Tennessee's 1, Auburn's 2, followed by Iowa State. Amongst the top teams in the country, which team do you think is the #1 team in the land right now?
Even though they aren't undefeated, I do believe Auburn's proved that they're the #1 team in the country. I think winning that Maui tournament and going into Cameron Indoor and winning, I think, they've shown that they're the #1 team in the country. Unfortunately, Tennessee hasn't lost this year, so I think the AP poll is using that as their reasoning for having them #1.
Yeah, look, we're getting into conference play. Auburn's one of 3 SEC teams in the top 5, 4 SEC teams in the top 6, and they're 10. 10 of the SEC teams are in the top 25. Good thing, bad thing? How does it affect the team when you have to basically go through a gauntlet like that in conference play?
I know it can be really tough going, you have no nights off. I think, the SEC might start becoming a basketball conference. Everybody knows them for football, but, they're really being dominant this year in basketball, and I think that'll make for a great conference season for them.
And do you think that will make those teams in the SEC battle tested for the tournament better than others?
I think it can be a pro and a con. Playing in the Big 10 and Big 12, two really gauntlets. It definitely makes your team ready, but it also can be wear and tear on your body. Like, I think, a lot of teams come in, when they have those gauntlet schedules, and then kind of come into the tournament a little tired and fatigued from a really long season, which, can be good and bad for them.
Yeah, I would imagine physically and emotionally having to go through that every game, as you said, no nights off. Look, we do have the full schedule starting up this weekend. There's one ranked-on-ranked matchup. It's Gonzaga versus UCLA from L.A., not Pauley Pavilion, but still from the Intuit Arena in L.A. Look, how do you see those two teams in particular matching up?
I think this is, a test of offense versus defense. Gonzaga's got a top 5 offense in the country. UCLA's got a top 5 defense in the country, according to analytics. And so I think this will be a big matchup for, whether Gonzaga's offense is going to reign supreme or UCLA's defense with Eric Daly and them, whether they can, kind of control that and really control the boards. Gonzaga usually dominates their opponents on the glass. And if they're able to do that, I think they'll win. But if UCLA is able to kind of counter that three-point attack and that offensive rebounding, I think, they have a really good shot.
All right, here we go. College basketball conference season and ranked-on-ranked action. It all starts in earnest. We are charging our way towards March Madness now as we turn the calendar towards 2025. That's CBS Sports college basketball analyst Hunter Dickinson. Hunter, thanks so much, man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And hey, this weekend on CBS Saturday, starting at 2 p.m., it's a CBS Sports Classic. It's the HBCU Showcase, starting at 2 p.m. on CBS and streaming live on Paramount+. It's the two D1 HBCU schools in North Carolina, Central and A&T, followed by Howard and Hampton, one of the great rivalries in all of college sports. It's the HBCU Showcase live on CBS Saturday, streaming on Paramount+.